to the track. But we are live, friends. My name is Chris Albrecht. I'm sure you know that by now. This is my friend Bud, and we're going to talk Mopars tonight. We may have some other friends join us. Not quite sure what the deal is tonight. A lot of people doing things. I know Johnny Mopar's heading down to the track to race his tin grill. My buddy Matt is supposed to show up. We'll see what his plan is. And I think Blake is out enjoying life with the family, which is awesome. But I've got my friend Bud here.
I'm here.
No Mopar Hunter left behind. I had somebody to join me. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk Mopars. I have no agenda today. We're just gonna wing it and see what happens. So for those of you that are tuning in right now, if you have a webcam or a cell phone camera and a set of earbuds or headphones, I'm about to post a link to this conversation that we're having, and you can join us on screen if you want to. So that will be posted into the chat right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to come on screen, talk with Bud and myself, you can do that. But like I said, no agenda. We're just going to talk random Mopar stuff. So without further ado, if you are a Mopar enthusiast, then you are in the right place. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into the best Mopar enthusiast-driven podcast on planet Earth. And I am your host, Chris Albrecht, better known as the Mopar Hunter. That's my friend Bud, and this is Talking Mopars, Direct Connections Live. Bud, my friend, what is going on? What have you been up to, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Just trying to make it through the week. A lot of rain here in Iowa, so
yeah,
we were trying to get some garage time today. It didn't really work out. I was trying to make it down to the Mopar shop, and I left work early to do so, and got tied up with other things, and so this will be my Mopar fix for the day right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I need some garage therapy this weekend. And actually, I just found out that a couple vans landed in my local pick and pull, and they just hit the yard earlier this week. The place closes at 4. So all week long, I've been trying to get off work early to get there in time. I've got my tools in the truck. I have what I call a go bag for when something pops up at pick and pull. I have my normal tools that I bring with me. That pretty much cover me for every little situation I might come across while I'm at the yard. But I haven't managed to get off in time. So I'm going to hit it at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's some stuff that I need for the van. And I really want to get cracking away on that van and the Mr. Norm truck this weekend. I got some stuff I need to do to that. Get it in the garage, get it running. And we'll go from there, see what happens.
Now, does your pick and pull let you bring a grinder in, or is it strictly like a Sawzall?
No sparks.
That's how ours is. So I was just making sure.
There is a trick around it, though. Like for me, there's a couple little... I need some patch panels for my van. And I'm sure you know what the nibblers are, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen the nibblers? Yeah. I can get away with a nibbler. So I'm going in there with my DeWalt drill, my cordless, and I'm going to go in there, hook that sucker up.
Smart.
Yeah. Drill a couple holes, couple pilot holes, rock that sucker in, get a piece bigger than I need, and go from there. That's the plan. I need to look at their price sheet and see if they price sheet metal, because I'm not sure what they're going to do when I come up with chunks of metal, because they check your tool bag when you go in there and when you leave now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Our local yard has like a bouncer out front. He's like, you walk up and he's like, let me see your bag. And you open it up and you got to have a mask on with the whole COVID thing. So before you even get to a mask on, bag open, and I went like 2 or 3 times ago, and he was like, "Whoa, you got to take that grinder back." I had a Milwaukee battery grinder, but I needed to get a cross member, and I didn't want to drill or mess with popping rivets off the frame, so I was just going to cut V's into heads and knock them off. And he's like, "Absolutely not, take it back." So I was like, "Well, so you can use a Sawzall." And I said, "Well, that makes sparks too, but sometimes I guess, but not like a grinder does." I understand.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what they do when I bring them some sheet metal, because I'm just gonna put the nibbler in the bottom of the bag and be like, I didn't bring a Sawzall or anything. You checked my bag. I found these pieces of metal just laying out there, and I thought that they might make good patch panels. So we'll give it a shot.
Right. Our yard had a couple of tin grills last time I was out there. They're pretty well picked over. It was odd to see them. It was just we were getting so new
Uh-huh.
with the vehicles that are coming in nowadays. That it was kind of, but I did score some mid to late 80s Diplomat 15x7 5 on 4.5s for my son's Charger last time I was there for I think $30 for the set.
Oh, wow.
Steel wheels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was a good
Nice.
deal.
Yeah.
But
Awesome. Looks like we got a little action in the chat. Let's see what Ed says. Oh, we also have a guest coming on, my buddy Curtis. We'll get you on in a second, bud. Ed says he finally got some stuff out of his storage. That's good. I need a storage, but that won't be for a while. Like I keep saying it. I want to sell my house and get a house with a shop. That would help me out a lot. This guy, Darren Kirkpatrick, is in the house.
hello,
Darren. How's it going, buddy? I know that we've been talking about getting you on the show. Now's your chance. You want to come on right now? Get your camera set up, bud. Come on the show. This is my buddy Mike, the nibbler, exactly what we call it. Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody likes a little nibble every once in a while. David, he came on with us last week, dragging a gas power compressor and air tools. That would be awesome if you could just chuck it over the fence, but
yeah, I'm not getting away with it at our place.
Yeah, I know that the last time I was in there, I was live streaming, and I don't know about your yard, bud, but mine, they've got tweakers all over the place, and there's a guy with his shirt off, and he's like singing to himself. I'm like, oh Jesus! And then a couple people are like looking at me all sketched out, like, what is he doing filming? But I just ignored him. But then I thought to myself, God, if I was in there and some weirdo was live streaming, because I'm talking into the camera, so
Yeah.
I'm sure some of those tweakers are like, what's he doing?
No, I haven't. I just typically encounter regular old, blue collar
Yeah.
guys like myself at the yard, and you're just trying to find try to find a deal on something or find what they're looking for and in and out. But
I think it's a good little hustle if you go in there and you know what to look for, like really common parts that people are always looking for. I'm sure that people do a little Craigslist hustle, and
yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean?
So Lusk built my buddy Ryan. We were just talking the other day how he'll go in there and he'll pick up second or whatever the third gen, whatever second gen 98 or 93 to 2001 Ram. If he can get a complete seat that's in good shape, they sell for like 120 at the yard, and he'll sell for 300 on Craigslist.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
See,
he was saying.
that's a good hustle. That's a good hustle.
Yeah,
Curtis, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
it's happening.
Welcome to the show. Curtis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, since you've never been on before and you're a new guest. I love the shirt. That's one of the shirts that I designed. It's one of my favorite shirts. Yeah. Where did you get it? Amazon? Or Teespring?
My wife got it for me a year and a half ago for Christmas, and I haven't been able to find it since. This thing is worn out.
Man, I can help you with that. Yeah, I designed that shirt. Yeah, I have.
I thought you had.
Yeah, I have some pictures of the pencil drawing. It's the best work I've ever done, and I didn't think I could ever top it, so I just stopped doing cartoons. But it's the paint chip CUDA, for those of you that don't know. If you see Curtis's shirt there, it's a cartooned version of the paint chip CUDA. I thought it was really cool.
It's my go-to. It's pretty worn out. I need another one.
Yeah, we'll set you up, buddy. Tell everybody about your projects.
68 Dart GT 4-speed car. It's an original car. Building a 340 stroker for it right now. It's got a 318 in it. So nice. Good car to tool around in.
Yeah,
forever trying to buy it.
Really? So the 340 or the Dart in general?
The Dart in general. They came from the same guy.
Oh, okay.
Spent about 8 years trying to buy the car from him.
What was it? Yeah. What was the deal? Why didn't you want to sell it?
So 8 years ago, I was living down in Vancouver, Washington. Met the guy. He was the neighbor, and he had it since 80. He bought it. He sold it in like 84. Bought it back in like 88. Drag raced it a lot in the 80s, and then he got it back. It was his wife's car, and it kind of just sat. He drove it every now and then. And then I came up. It was either he wasn't ready to sell it, or I didn't have the money. So last summer it kind of aligned, and I sold my 72 Dart and bought that. And
What was the story with the 72 that you wanted to get rid of that one for the older one?
So I spent about 4 years building that out of two 72s. Bought one that was completely rusty. I was trying to build that one at first, and figured out the frame rails were gone in it. And for Washington, that's pretty bad rust.
Yeah.
And especially this side where it's all desert and there's no rust at all. But ended up finding another 72 sitting in the field. Built a hot 318 for it, 904, more drag car style.
Cool.
And then, like I said, the 68 came up, and I sold a lot to get it.
Was it hard to get rid of the project you had been working on for so long? I mean, you get two, you make one. It's like, did you develop a sentimental value? Was it hard to get rid of them?
At first, yes. I have no regrets whatsoever. Like I said, that car, that 68, I dreamed about having that car from day one. My dad had a 69, so I liked that front end and rear end a little bit better.
Yeah.
My wife wasn't too happy with me. She liked the 72, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Isn't that how it usually works, though? I spent 14 years chipping away at my wife because she hates vans, and she said I would never have a van. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, we'll see about that. And there's a van in the garage now. So who won? I did.
Right.
It was not easy, though. So where are you at right now with your Dart, Curtis?
It's my daily driver right now. It's the 318, 318 4-speed. It's originally a 318 car, but it doesn't have the original engine, so I don't feel too bad about, modifying it. Picked up the 340 2 weeks ago. It was like, I don't know if I should tell how much I paid because it came with HP manifolds and everything. Let's just say it was right around $1,000.
Okay, yeah, for a 340, that's not bad.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a 72 cast crank. I'm more pissed that they painted it Ford blue, but tearing into it, it's got 188J heads on it. LD4B Edelbrock, basic stuff to it. Crank needs work. I found out last weekend, so I'm looking at stroking it to a 416. Just kind of gathering money right now.
So what are your plans for? Are you trying to do a full-on custom? You're gonna have a ratty muscle car, drag car? What are you trying to do with it?
Ratty muscle car. The car is nice for an original car. I don't really want to change it too much. I put new interior in it, but other than that, it's
What color is the car?
It's the GG1 dark metallic green.
Nice.
Green interiors, turbine wheels. It's basically stayed that way since the 80s when he first bought it. Cool. So I don't want to change it too much, but it's got some spots where there's primer, so I'll blend those in with paint, and I'd like to leave it as original as I can.
When did you become a Mopar enthusiast? Was it because your dad had a Dart and it was kind of in the family, or how did that come about?
So yeah, more so my dad. Growing up in high school, I built a lot of Toyotas and Jeeps and was into the 4-wheel drives because he was back when I was growing up, but he had hot rods before I came about.
Sure.
And growing up listening to stories about his Dart, and which I'm trying to find right now, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck. So if anyone knows of a 69 340 Swinger clone, R4 red, white stripe, black interior, hard top, no vinyl, hit me up.
And that's in Washington, I imagine.
Last it was seen, it was in Portland, early 2000s.
Oh, okay. It's funny how some of those cars, they end up turning up. I hope to God I can find my dad's van, because I joke about it, but I'm pretty sure I was conceived in that thing. And if I could, that's a huge piece of history for me. I would almost, if somebody came up with my dad's old van, gosh, the sentimental attachment for me, I would probably give up the van and my truck to have that van back, just because it was definitely the one that got away. My dad should have bought it from my uncle, but he didn't. And from what I understand, the kid who bought it from my uncle wrecked it. Now, I don't know to what extent. I don't know if it ended up getting totaled out. I don't know if it ended up getting saved. And I've pretty much reached out to all the local vanners that I know from Instagram, and nobody has come up with anything. So I'm a little bummed out, but we'll see what happens. You never know. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that someone can at least tell me what happened to it. Oh, I saw it in a wrecking yard back in, 97 or something. That I want closure. And if that closure is finding out that it did get wrecked and totaled, that's fine. As long as I know what happened to it, because the idea that it might still be out there really gets to me. I'm like, gosh, if it's out there, I got to find it. You know what I mean? So it's funny how we get suckered into the Mopar game. I find out of all the stories that I've read, it seems to be that not very many people find Mopars on their own. It's usually some sort of influence from the past, their parents or their grandparents. So I always like stories like that. I like your story about the Dart and your dad having one, because my dad had a Dart. And I thought I would have my green one for a long time. I really did. I had a lot of big dreams for that one, but there comes a point where, much like yourself, if you want something else more, you'll know how bad you want it if you are willing to sacrifice it. You know what I mean? And I sacrificed my Dart and my blue truck to get what I have now. And, other than a pinch of regret after I did it, I have no regrets now. So
yeah, see, when I first did the swapping with mine, I was a little hesitant to sell my 72 because, like I said, I built it over 3 years. It was the first car that I really ground up built from nothing. But as soon as I got the 68, every shred of regret was gone.
Yeah. 8 years is a long time, man. Gosh, I was after that Mr. Norm truck for almost 6 years. So I know that. So was the Dart local to you and you had to see it all the time, or was it something that you knew about? How did you know about the car?
So in 2012, right out of high school, I moved down to Vancouver. I was only there for about 6 months, but the guy lived across the street from where I was living. So, and I bought a Datsun pickup from him, drove that, ended up wrecking that one really bad. And then, I talked to him a lot and, just became friends with him. And, last summer, on a whim, I had a 60 Studebaker that I was given, drove it V8 3 on the tree car. And he's a big Studebaker guy. And I was like, hey, it was given to me. It runs and drives. If you want it, you can have it. And then it kind of worked out to where I gave him some cash, that car, and it worked out really well. I mean, I paid quite a bit for what people consider an A body's worth, but it's a nice car, and it came with all new Legendary interior.
Nice.
Came with all sway bars, bunch of extra parts, Legendary interior. There's like $2,000 worth of stuff there, which I put in this last winter.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm an expert in paying more than something's worth.
Yeah.
I'm probably man, gosh, if I needed to or wanted to sell my truck right now, I don't think I could let it go for, gosh, I never thought I'd be talking about this, but I probably wouldn't let it go for less than 20,000. And that's crazy for a tin grill. You know what I mean? And I know that, and that's why it's not for sale. But it would have to be, I love that truck so much, and it means so much that I actually have it now, that it would take a lot of money to pry it from my fingers. Now, that said, there are a couple cars on my bucket list of Mopars that I would love to own someday. And if one of those came up and it was the right move, it would have to be a really nice B or E body for me to consider a trade. Or an original 383 Dart or 440 Dart. That'd be cool. An original numbers matching big block Dart could definitely sway me a little bit. But I just love the truck too much.
Right. And you're in the same position as me where, you so long you worked for it and, always had that thought in the back of your head, maybe I could get this. And
yeah.
It was pretty awesome going down and buying that car and driving it home 4 hours.
Right. Killer feeling. You're like, I got it. Finally. Yeah. That, man, I know that feeling. Gosh, it's like a high.
Mean, oh yeah. And then daily driving it, there's at least once or twice a week people want to buy it. And I'm always like, all right, yeah, $100,000. That's way more than the A body's worth. That's a lot more than I paid, but that's my not for sale price.
Yeah, I like it. Matt Monroe in the house. Big Block, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing? I brought Fro.
Good.
Fro, what's up, man?
It's same old, same old. What are you guys doing?
Just hanging out, talking Mopars, buddy. It's finally good to put a face to the voice. For those of you that don't know, Matt and Fro are part of basically the hosts, co-hosts, along with Chris, of the Mad Fro Monroe on Big Blocks Garage podcast. If you haven't heard that, it's definitely a podcast I would check out. I've checked out. I'm subscribed. So definitely go give it a listen. These guys are hilarious. I can't wait. You guys are goofballs, and I love it because I'm a goofball, so I can relate. But good to have you guys on. What are you guys up to?
We just got done doing like an hour episode of just basically nothing but cracking up.
Nice.
There are some segues that kind of get off track.
That's the best part about these things. Fro, I thought you were taking off for a little bit. What, your sabbatical is over already? What happened?
I needed to unwind for a couple weeks, and I did. And I found out that I'm actually better just doing the show.
Yeah. Just admit it. You missed Matt. You missed Matt.
I missed the whole process. In all honesty, I've said it on the podcast several times. I'm the old guy in the room, so it's one of those things where I don't exactly understand why anybody would want to sit here and listen. And the more we do it, the more I start to get it, the more I start to understand. Literally, car guys just want to sit around and talk about cars. And if you can catch that in a bottle for just a minute, you're doing something.
Absolutely. There's something about the car community that it's really weird, because even, people that you would almost deem as, they have celebrity status because they've been on TV. You can definitely have a down to earth conversation with some of those people. And I think that, it really breaks that wall down, the love of cars. And it's platforms like this and podcasts like ours, we're just normal people. We don't have TV shows or anything like that. And I think a lot of people can relate to the things we say. I know a lot of people have reached out to me like, hey man, I really relate to what you're saying about, losing motivation on your projects, or all the things that I've talked about throughout the course of my podcast. I've even had plenty of people reach out to me and say, quit being lazy. You're being a lazy bastard. Get out there. And I love it. I love the positivity. I even accept the negativity. It's all good to me. So I definitely think that podcasts like this, where you get a bunch of different people from all walks of life, that's why I started referring to these podcasts as the motley crew of Mopars, because it's like people from all over the country, all different walks of life, all types of cars. When you come together, it just creates great conversation. Sometimes you go on tangents, but that's all part of the fun.
It's true.
So Matt, I see the duster in the background. Blake is not here to defend himself, so we need you to talk some shit about what's gonna take place at Mo Party. Okay.
I really think he'll probably end up taking me in the quarter mile, but I think when we do the cone courses, I think my car being lighter will help me out a lot there. Just a little bit more nimble than that e-body, but we shall see.
Yeah, I tried to get him to talk shit when he was on. I was like, hey, Matt's not here. Let it go. He wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't let it go. So I'll do the shit talking for you. I think the e-body is gonna lose in the drag and the road course. I think Blake's gonna get after it a little bit too much, and I think he's gonna light him up a little bit too much off the line, and I think you're just gonna nice little Sunday cruise down the track and smoke him. That's what I think. Sorry, Blake, you're not here to defend yourself, buddy.
I mean, we can hope that's how it's gonna go. I mean, so hopefully we can even get the car there. It still looks like Swiss cheese back there. Fro's just blocking it for me.
It's modern HEMI versus modern HEMI. HEMI on HEMI crime. It's gonna be fun. That's why I think you have the major advantage, because you're gonna be lighter, hands down. So I think the A body is gonna win, and I still have a special place in my heart for A bodies, even though I don't have one anymore. So I'm rooting for the Duster. Sorry, Blake. Sorry to break the news to you, buddy.
I'm not trying to give anything away, but there's been quite a few QA1 boxes showing up at my house.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited. For those of you that don't know, Holly last year put on their first their first annual Mo Party, which is like the Mopar answer to LS Fest. And from what I gather, it was a huge success. I really wanted to make it. I couldn't make it, but this year I'm definitely going to make it. And so are a bunch of my friends. And there's going to be a friendly little competition between Matt and Blake from DIY HEMI. It's going to be Blake's E-Body, his AAR CUDA, versus Matt in his Duster. And both of them have 5.7 HEMIs. It's going to be a fun competition, and it's all going to be documented too. That's going to be the fun part. I'm excited, man.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
There has to be some sort of a wager, though. I don't like these gentleman bets. I think they're bullshit. I think we need to get some. It doesn't have to be monetary.
I don't know what I could offer up.
We'll have to think about that one. But there's got to be something. I don't know. Maybe
you gotta put some skin on it for something.
Yeah, something. I don't know. It's got to be something humorous. I like humorous type things. We'll figure something out. It won't be too.
Something pretty good.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Yeah. So, how much more work do you have to do? Because it seems like this year's already going by quick for me anyway. I don't know, Matt, if you're feeling the pressure or what.
I am a little bit. I mean, right now, what sheet metal needed to come off to get replaced is off, and we're getting ready to start replacing it. So we're at the point of doing body work. The HEMI's pretty much all together. I just got to get sensors and everything else installed. Fro's working on getting the 8 3/4 rear end narrowed down for me so we can get that on there.
Nice.
I already have all my disc brake kits and everything else. I mean, we're looking at very few odd and end pieces. Wiring harnesses here. I have the Terminator X here already. So, I mean, it's literally looking like we just got to get the car put together.
That's awesome, man. It's going to come down to power to weight and I think traction. I don't know what tires Blake has on his car. If he's going to run those what has he got? 18s, 17s? I'm not quite sure what he has on that thing.
Well, I know I'm running 18x8s in the rear and 17x7s in the front.
Okay. What kind of tires are you going to run?
I already have tires. I can't remember. They came with the wheels I got for the car.
Okay.
And I cannot remember what brand they were, but I mean, they're pretty aggressive street tire for sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
What are you running for a trans?
I'm going to be running a built 904. Blake and I actually were having this discussion in our little group chat, and for consistent daily with power, because I mean, the HEMI I put together, we're going to be about just a little shy of 500 on the regular. So Blake and I both came to the same conclusion that a built 904 would hold up better versus the 727.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 904 in my 72. I mean, I was only 300 around there, but I beat the tar out of that thing, and I never heard it. I mean, I tried because I had a 4-speed, and I was just trying to blow it up, and I couldn't.
I mean, they're a very underrated transmission, in my opinion. Like if you look at everything that John Cope's putting out for him, I mean, he almost every single thing he puts out and recommends is a 904. He offers 727 stuff, but even in his own personal car, he's running a built 904.
Yeah, it's definitely the unsung hero of Mopar transmissions, I think. I've definitely heard about a lot of small block drag cars running 904s. So there's got to be something to it. And I know one of the last, probably 2 or 3 live streams ago was that I think we pulled up pictures of a blown 727. It was just smashed to smithereens. It was completely blown apart.
The carnage was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. September's coming quick, dude.
Yeah.
Where are you at on
4 months?
Yeah. Where are you at on the metal on the car?
See what now?
Where are you at on the metal? Like, I know you're doing floors and stuff like that and quarters.
I already have the quarters. They're in the attic above me. And then it's just 4 toe pans that we got to put in. And once we get all that in, get the body work done there, it's literally just getting under the car, resealing it, and just it's put together time.
Nice, very nice. See, Blake has the advantage there where he's just waiting for you, dude.
I know. It's like, okay, so this guy already has his finished car. It's dialed in. He knows everything about this car. And I'm like, Yeah, it's gonna go down the road.
Yeah, well, you definitely have the power advantage, and you definitely have the weight advantage, because I don't think Blake's done very much to that 5.7 in his car. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he's got very much done to it. Do you know anything that I don't?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, he talks about it, but at the same time, he's very secretive about that AAR.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be holding out. Who knows? He might have some secrets.
I'm hoping he isn't trying to be sneaky and swapping that 392 in without us knowing.
Ooh, we should probably check blocks when we get to Bowling Green, just to make sure.
I mean, just to be on the safe side, make sure everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. We'll have to run them through tech inspection and see what kind of secrets are hiding. Yeah. So you're running the Holly setup on yours, right?
Yes.
How has that been so far? You haven't started that thing yet, have you?
I have not. I haven't started yet. We're still getting ready to do sensors, but I mean, the kit came. I mean, it was an awesome kit, and I mean, I did an unboxing video on it on my YouTube.
I saw that.
But, I mean, the labeling and everything else is phenomenal. There's literally no way you can mess this up as long as you follow the instructions.
Yeah, I'll be following that closely, because like I said a few times, I've definitely been considering going Holly fuel injection on my HEMI, because I really want to put that 4-barrel on it. The aluminum intake, because I think aesthetically it looks great on top of a G3. So we'll see about that. What are you doing for an intake on yours?
I'm just doing a factory intake. I want to do an upgraded throttle body, and that's about all I'm doing to that.
Okay. Interesting. Internally, do you got what kind of secrets do you got in that thing?
I'm running a Comp Cams HRT Stage 2.
Okay.
And then besides that, I did mostly stock rebuild on it. It had already been to the machine shop and was just ready to be put back together.
So a lot of that power is just coming from the cam then?
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to be coming from the cam, and then the upgraded throttle body will help waking that cam up a little bit more.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see this thing. It's going to be fun. I got to root for the underdog, and right now Blake's sitting in his high castle, in his high HEMI castle, just waiting for you. And gosh, it's going to be really fun. I want to do a live from the event while you guys are racing, and I'll commentate it.
There we go.
It's going to be fun. So getting back to Curtis, I want to know a little bit more about this dart, dude. So when you got it, what kind of shape was it? It was in drivable shape, or it hadn't ran in years, or what?
No, so it hadn't ran in probably about 6 months to a year. I mean, he's pretty particular about his cars. He starts them up a lot. Just hasn't really been driven a lot. I mean, it's in survivor shape. Like, I haven't done anything to it other than interior and oil change. Like I said, I bought it last September, somewhere in there. And I've driven it, put about 5,000 miles on it without any issues.
And you said, go ahead.
The 4-speed in it is the numbers trans. It could probably it needs to get gone through eventually, especially if I'm going to put a 416 in front of it.
Yeah. And you said it's a pretty dry car, not too much rod on it. Pretty solid.
The lowers of the quarters are a little soft in the back. I mean, It was from Vancouver, so
yeah,
whole different climate from over here in Eastern Washington.
Sure. Yeah, you guys got some solid stuff. That van's from Eastern Washington, and it's pretty solid. Once I cleaned it up a little bit, there is a spot in the back that I don't like. It's got a couple pinholes in it, so I'm gonna look a little bit closer at that once I wire wheel everything and get it all cleaned up, which I'm planning on doing this weekend. Hopefully, knock on wood, I get a chance to get out there and have some fun with that thing. But yeah, that's one good thing about Washington is we do have two sides. We have the eastern side, which is nice and dry and usually hot. It can be kind of a pain in the winter, though. You guys get some gnarly snow over there, dude.
Yeah, a lot of snow, a lot of wind.
Yeah.
I mean, last week it hit 70 miles an hour wind, so it was pretty rough.
So I keep hearing that over in Eastern Washington, it's like a treasure trove of Mopars over there. Is that true?
If you know where to look, there's a lot of cool stuff out here, but you got to know people, because I mean, a lot of these guys are farmers and they drive until they quit. They shove them in their fields, and they don't like people poking around, which is understandable, because I mean, they know what, some of them know what they have.
Yeah. What does anything stick out in your mind? Like, oh, I know where the 6-pack CUDA is or something crazy.
So 2 come to mind. I know where there's a HEMI car. I'm not going to say much about that because I know that's going to bring a lot of attention. And then
we'll talk after the show, Curtis. We'll talk after the
right?
show.
And then the small town I grew up in, Arlington, in Oregon, there's a 71 CUDA. I mean, if you're driving by it on the freeway, you can see it from there. It's been sitting there. See, we moved there in early 2000s, and it's been sitting there. It's a 71 340 4-speed car, just 4-barrel car. But it's like that butterscotch with black billboards, gator grain top, slot mags. I mean, it's a bitchin' looking car. It's sat in the same spot for 20 years. I mean,
and this is in Arlington?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a friend that grew up in Arlington too. And
oh, really?
Yeah, I know her because she ended up coming up to work at my place of employment as a manager, and she just moved back to Arlington. I'm gonna have to talk. What was
her name?
Ashley.
Yeah, I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, a town of 400, you kind of know everyone.
Is it only 400? I always joke with her when I talk to her about it. I'm like, it's like a 1-horse town.
Yeah, I mean, 400. My graduating class 10 years ago was 6 people.
Yeah, because she's in her late 20s. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, what a small world. I'll have to talk. I'm curious to see because she lives there now, and I would love to have her go take some pictures for me because I'm sure she'd be a pal and do that.
I'll text you some pictures of it.
Oh, you have pictures? Oh
yes.
Yeah. Text me some pictures. I got to see this thing. It sounds bad.
I was like 2 years ago. I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I think it was Rotting Muscle Cars or one of the barn find pages had a picture of it posted up there.
Really?
And people were just losing their minds, and I just left a single comment. I was like, I know exactly where that's at, and then everyone was like blowing up my inbox.
See, they're out there, and everybody knows. Somebody knows where that special car is at, unless it's so far tucked away that you don't know where it's at. But like, that's a great example of a town of 400, and a picture of the damn car ends up on Instagram. You know what I mean? How crazy is that? That's insane.
So I mean, how it is, you pull into the town, and then you got a little, maybe 1/8 of a mile, if that, 16th, and then you get back onto the freeway. So you pull off into town, get gas, and you look up on the hill, and you can see the car sitting there. It's not very well hidden. I mean, when we first moved there, the car was in a lot better shape, of course. My dad tried to buy it, wouldn't sell it. I mean, guy's been offered ridiculous money, but it was his high school car.
Really?
So he's going to give it to his kid. From what I understand, his kid has no interest in it.
Here's what you do, Curtis. You go there dressed as the high school mascot and go, hey, I know you've had great memories, but it's time to let him go. And you bring some cash with you and a nice smile, and you might end up with it.
I mean, I've talked to the guy. I've never gotten super close to the car. Now that I've got the 68, I drive that. It's about an hour away from me, so I go down there to see my parents and friends and everything. So I was just going to drive the 68 down there and see if I could strike up a conversation. I mean, just to go over and check it out. I mean, talk to the guy.
Oh yeah. No, that car. That's a cool car, man. And I love knowing that they're still out there. It gets me going because I just had a bunch of money and I spent it all already. And I was thinking about it before I bought the Mr. Norm truck. I was like, for the first time in my entire life, I have a nice little stockpile of cash. And
that's when nothing's for sale.
And that's when nothing is for sale. As soon as I got that truck, 2 weeks later, a bunch of shit pops up, and I'm like, what about that one? What about that one? What about that one too? Yep. So it's the way the game goes, I guess. So I need to start. I need to start saving money again because now I'm missing out on a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, why? Why does it come up after I spend all the cash?
Right.
That's how it always works. But how are you coming along on your project, dude? You've got an awesome Charger.
Well, the RT, I've been working on trying to get the engine unstuck. So I don't know how long it's been stuck out. I got the car. Yeah. It's pretty well basket case. It's complete and it's just rough. So I've been slowly working on getting stuff in the cylinders and letting them oil up or try to soak down to get it freed up. But the original numbers matching engine, transmission, the the engine compartment is just like the factory sent it. It hasn't really been molested or anything at all. Nice. So it'd be nice to get that going. But we've been doing more work on the son's car, which is also a 71 Charger. It's a 2-barrel 383 car. We're putting a 360 and a 727 in it. Okay. Got it minus engine and transmission, but got to pull the front clip off. There's a little bit of rust below the windshield on the cowl, and some just above the windshield from the vinyl top, and just in the channel though. So wire wheeled all out and got some metal out, put some fresh metal in. We should be good to go and start working towards paint.
Awesome. Is your son pretty into Mopars like you?
So I grew up in a GM household.
Okay.
You were just saying how, like Curtis's dad had a Dart and your dad had a Dart and my dad had Camaros. So I found Mopars on my own, like you're, saying people usually don't find them on there, by picking up either a Mopar Muscle or a Mopar Action magazine in high school. And it was just like, man, these things are freaking badass. So
way better than Camaros.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So I started buying more and more magazines and reading all I could and whatever. And just never could find one that was right over the years. As you know, I got an Oldsmobile as well, but
yeah.
So I wanted an M codes and an A12 Super B, and who doesn't? And that's my son's favorite car too. So when we got this 71, I told him, well, we should just clone it like a B, and he was like, absolutely not. He said it has to be like the fender tag says it was when it left the factory. Nice. So that's how it's going back, minus the white top. So so they've already, whoever had it before had already cut all the trim posts off the quarters and stuff, and I wasn't gonna mess with that. So we're just gonna paint it all gold and we're gonna put RT stripes on it, but just things like that. But
I don't think you ever told me the story of how you got your RT. What's the story behind that car?
Well, the Mopar shop, Reynolds Performance Mopars, here in Iowa. The guy's name's Steve, super nice guy. I've known him since high school. I was in high school, went to school with his kids. He's my parents' age. So he's in his 60s. And I stop out there and I help him out with a lot of stuff, and just he had this Charger in a lean-to, and he had the what we call the gray Charger because it's in primer. The 71 383 car was in his shop in cold storage, and just worked out a deal. And he wanted to put all of the RT stuff on the gray car. That's why he had the gray car, because the blue, it's B7 blue, the RT it's so rough. He didn't think it was savable. But now with what we've actually sat down and mapped out and figured out, we think it is. So I bought a 72 that's been really picked over. It's basically just a rolling shell to cut the roof off of to put on that 71. AMD got the pan, the floor pan to me. So we're gonna start chiseling away at it eventually, but we're trying to get my son's car done first. But that's how it came about. Steve had it already. I don't know how he got it, but
right on.
So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But
you still got the tag for that thing?
The fender tag for the RT? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a Lynch Road car, so it don't show a lot.
Oh, okay.
But when I was going through the glove box and the ashtray, I found all sorts of receipts for the car, or not for the, well, just not just the car, but just Southwestern Bell phone, bills, stuff like that. Well, that led me on a mission to find the original owner. So I figured your Southwestern Bell account number is your cell phone, your landline number. And I figured, all right, if someone bought this car new, they're probably in their 70s, and my grandparents are in their 70s, and they still have a landline. So I started trying it. Well, it didn't work out, and I used a name on it to find people on Facebook that may be related, and went through all the stuff and started doing searches on the phone number, and apparently area code mapping had changed. So I got a different area code, but the same 7-digit number after.
Oh, wow.
And I called it, and I got the guy that bought it brand new. He sat down and ordered it, him and his wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his name is Jay Tucker. So I called him and said, hey, I've been looking for it. And he's like, yeah, I know, because you've been messaging my family on Facebook, but they've been going through a hardship with a family member being sick and things, and that's why they hadn't got back to me. But they're kind of a religious family, and he had said, I just took a whole bunch of electronics to the recycler the other day, and I have the original radio to that car, and they wouldn't take it. And he said, so it's in the back of my Tahoe right now. And he said, now I know. He said, now I know why.
Wow.
So he put it in a box, and I sent him money for shipping. I tried to just buy it, give him an honest price on it. He said, no, I'll give it to you since you have the car. So he shipped it to me. When I opened up the box, it had the photo from the day he brought it home from the dealership taped to the top of the radio. So,
dude, why haven't you told this awesome story? We've had you on the show many times. That's an awesome story.
I sit quiet until I'm needed. I don't know.
Gosh.
Unfortunately,
anybody else hiding cool stories?
Unfortunately, it's a black and white photo, but it's a B7 car, white top, white interior.
Yeah, there you go.
He ordered it 440 automatic, air conditioning, hideaways. You got the G60 15s, which was a U86 option. It was like a $78 option. You had to get the 15-inch rallies to get them. It's like I said, it sucks being a Lynch Road car because the tag don't show a lot, and there's no build sheet. He had the interior pulled and diamond pleated like 2 weeks after he bought the car. So really? either the build sheet left then, or there was never one in the car. He drove the car daily into the 80s. It jumped time or something happened, and he parked it, and people started, like, all the badges got robbed off of it sitting behind his parents' house. So he decided to sell it because that's why he took the radio out, because apparently a 2-watt AM radio was going to be worth something to somebody. So, but real quick, if they have time, the dealership was Willie Gannon in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And like I said, he sat down and ordered it. The day it came in, they're like, hey, your car's here. So he went down, he was all excited, and they wouldn't let him have it because it came off the truck. The power steering hose was leaking. So he went home, they fixed it, gave it back to him, or he came in, got the car. And it was a few months later, it blew a head gasket going down the road. So they accused him of hot rodding it, so they weren't going to warranty it. So he, sat and pled with them, hey, I didn't hot rod the car, I'm just driving to work or whatever. And so they ultimately fixed it, and it didn't run anything. So it still has the original stuff on the engine. So,
that's crazy. You know what dealership you could never pull that kind of crap with, because they would never say that to you? Grant Spalding Dodge.
Yeah.
They would have never said, oh, are you hot rodding? Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. You gave me a card that said I could.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that he said, I wasn't hot rodding it. Okay. That's funny though. What a cool story, man. God, I'm glad. See, sometimes you just got to dig a little bit and you get some good gold. That's a great story, man. That's fun.
It's a cool car. It'll be a cool car whenever it gets done, which will be a long time because it's going to take a lot of work. But on the registry for the 71 Super B and RT registry, it's the only one that has a white top and white interior for being B7 blue as of right now.
Really?
I've done posts on Facebook and in Mopar groups and stuff, trying to get people, hey, if you have pictures or if you know of one, just to see how many more are out there. There's plenty of B7 cars, and there's plenty of them with a white top, but they either have blue interior or black interior.
Interesting. So, that'll be a cool car when it's done, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. God, I'm glad we got to hear that story. That's cool. Fro, Matt, why don't you unmute there? I got to ask Fro some questions.
Yes,
Fro, you're a GM guy, or the Ford guy, or an all-car guy?
I'm not really selective.
Okay. So Matt is clearly a little obsessed with Mopars at the moment. I'm wondering. It seems like from the outside looking in, do Mopar guys seem a little kooky to you? I'm just curious.
One more time, what's the question?
Do we seem weird to you? A little kooky?
Yeah. Okay, so we've actually discussed this a couple times. What really tends to throw some people off is you guys as a group tend to stick to your numbers. You tend to pay attention to your numbers. You watch some of the television shows and they're paying attention to the color code. They're paying attention to what bolts go where. It seems tedious to the point that it's no longer enjoyable. Now, the more I've watched you guys and the more I've paid attention to what it is that you guys are doing, it's a different form of fun. You guys seem to have just as much fun researching what each thing means and how to get back to that point than say a Ford guy or a Chevy guy. You know, you've got some of those Chevy guys out there that they're VIN code guys, they're fender tag guys. They're paying attention to all the little details. I'm not one of those guys. Like I just cut it up and try and make it look cool, and if it looks cool when I'm done, then I did it right.
Yeah.
You know, you guys tend to lean more towards the purist side of things. When you're talking to Mopar guys, that's where they tend to go is, well, this is how the factory made it, so this is how we want to go back to. If you get that with the Ford guys, you get that with the Shelby guys or the Mustang guys, or it's a very selective group of Ford guys. With Mopar guys, it's just Mopar guys. So I'm learning a lot watching you guys, just because to me it just doesn't. It didn't seem fun getting to this point, getting to the point to where you pay attention to color codes and stuff like that.
Sure.
Now that I've kind of course I've watched a couple of these, and I've listened to you guys. I've paid attention to some of this. There's obviously a certain amount of fun to be had just in figuring out the history of the car. I have an old Fairlane. I have a 65 Ford Fairlane that I'm trying to put together. And to me, the history is that it was my mom's car, and then it became my grandpa's car, and then it wound up with me. So that's my history. Now, that being said, I've actually gone through and looked up where the car came from, and the car is still the original Wimbledon white. You start paying attention to some of this stuff after I watch some of you guys with what you do. You know, there's certain things to be found. I didn't know the car, my car. I didn't know my car was built in Kansas City. And kind of paying attention to you guys, I started kind of digging in and seeing where my car came from and what's some of the history on my car. My car came from Kansas City. It went to Springfield. It was sold to a gentleman who lives in my hometown, which is Miami, Oklahoma. And it had pretty much stayed there until it wound up in my hands.
Wow.
So I get it. I don't think that up to this point, up to hanging out with Matt and watching you guys, I don't think I understood where the joy of this hobby would be.
I see. That's a great answer. I've always been curious because I think about it sometimes because I'm in the world, and sometimes the really hardcore purists where they are 100%, you know, it's got to be this way. I'm not that guy. I appreciate all that stuff. And if I had the endless pocketbook, I would have a numbers matching whatever, you know what I mean? And then I'd have my hot rod and whatever. But there's definitely, I've talked to some guys, and it's no one I really know on a personal level, but it shows and stuff. There's definitely some guys that I'm like, okay, I could never have a fun conversation with you because you're too anal about stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The 6-pack versus 6-barrel guys and the Violet versus Plum Crazy guys, where it's like down to the finest points.
I'm sure there's a guy out there with a little paint sample of FC7, and he walks up to all the cars. He's like, "Oh, that's the wrong shade," and he just talks shit to all of them as he's walking down.
But they do the same thing with Corvettes.
Oh yeah. I went to
Oh.
NCRS judging a few back in like September, and it was just so uptight. It was almost sickening. But a friend of mine had a car there. That's why I went. But
Yeah, the Corvette guys, that's a whole different fanny pack wearing, New Balance wearing, just
we brought that up on our podcast tonight.
They've got, what are those? Oh gosh, I can't think of the name, but they have those not Timex. They have those like plastic watches, that's got the black and white, like digital, like the old
like Casio or
Casio. That's it. Yes, Casio. Definitely Casio watches, the fanny packs, and those sunglasses that actually have their normal glasses. They just flip them up. Oh, yeah, with the visor hat, and they're like bald, so it's like, hey, maybe wear an actual baseball cap so that you don't sunburn the top of your head.
Wow,
Fro, you might know a little bit about that. I'm not sure.
I know a little.
My bad thing is my buddy is only a few years older than me. He has a 63, and he legit has the flip up sunglasses on his eyeglasses. No, I'm not even kidding you.
Hey, when you ride with him in a Corvette, is he like, hold on a second? He pops out the glove box, puts on his driving gloves, puts on his leather driving gloves, the fingerless ones.
I don't fit in Corvettes very well, so.
Oh gosh. That's kind of, I always thought I wanted a Viper until I sat in one. I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'8", little chubby, little round around the edges, but I got in a Viper, a couple of them actually, every generation of Viper, and I do not fit in them very well. They are uncomfortable. And I hate saying that because I want one so bad. Just because it's like, it's a poster car, and there's something I've always had about poster cars. I have to have one someday. But definitely I've sat in some Corvettes, but the Viper, I was really disappointed of how uncomfortable it was for me. And if you got a bad back, at the time I had some back problems, so getting in and out of that thing was a nightmare. But I was going somewhere with that I was going to talk some more shit about Corvette guys, but I forgot where I was going. So yeah. Matt, I don't think I've ever actually really dug into your story too much, and I'm really curious. You haven't always been a Mopar guy.
Okay, so I wanted this car. Like when I say this car, I don't mean a Duster. Mm-hmm. This car since I was 16 years old.
Okay.
Always wanted it. It was never in the cards. And then my wife, I had a 86 W250.
Okay.
That I absolutely loved. And then my wife and I started dating, and she had a 63 C10. And that's where I started putting my energy, was into that C10 for her and I. And I took some bad advice and got way in over my head for a first build. Mm-hmm. Anybody that tells you can easily swap a big block into a 63 anything is a liar.
I mean, they came with them, didn't they?
No, not even a little bit. But then this car came up, and it had sat out by a lake for like 11 years in the woods, and miraculously not one wire was chewed up or seats ate up or anything from rodents. What saved it was, I don't know where everybody's from, but I don't know if you guys have wasps, like mud daubers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mud what?
Mud daubers.
Mud daubers.
You guys in the South, man, you guys have all sorts of, like, I was talking about Bigfoot when I was truck driving in the South, and they're like, oh, you mean the boogers? And I was like, no, the Bigfoot, the big feet.
Yeah.
Y'all are some weird characters, okay?
So anyway, this car was just like, I guarantee you I vacuumed out 10 pounds of wasp nest.
Wow.
When I brought it home, and I'm guessing they kept everything else chased off. Because I brought it home, put in some fresh oil, a good battery, and poured some clean gas in, and it fired up, and I drove around the neighborhood after sitting for 11 years.
Wow. Nice. How were the brakes on that thing?
God awful. But I didn't take time to do anything else with them. I was driving.
Nice. Did you always have a vision for customizing the car? Or were you like, oh, I'm just going to drive it an old classic? What was your plan with it?
I really had it in my mind when I first got the car. I was going to do a 5.7, but you can ask for. I was very inconsistent in my planning. Just I was trying to find something that I could do. So it went from I was going to just do a Super 6 with the slant that's right here over my shoulder, and then I was going to do a 318, and then the 5.7 fell in my lap, and I had originally wanted to do a 5.7 HEMI. So when it came up, I just jumped on it.
Nice. Has the project gone the way you thought it would?
it's gone better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to do more with it. I actually ordered my shark tooth grill for it. I know everybody does shark tooth grill, but it's one of the best looking grills ever put on a car.
Yeah. Agree.
So I got me a shark tooth grill for it.
Nice.
I mean, it's just gone better. Like it's kind of like one of those things that it feels like it's meant to be the things I'm doing, because the deals were just always right there when they're supposed to be at the right time, and were just easily gotten.
What was it about the Duster originally where you're like, I want that car?
It was my dad got it for my stepbrother, and the fact that it was a lot cooler than the 1998 Ford Contour I was driving at the time. It was really my first experience with a classic, was being around this Duster. It was my first experience of being around something that old, and that was classic. Even though it had the slant, to me it was still a muscle car, and I just fell in love.
Nice. I need to go back and read the story. For those of you that don't know, Matt submitted a story to listener stories to Talking Mopars a long time ago. So I know him telling me the story, I'm starting to remember because I've read so many of them. But you telling me that story, I remember it now. I have to go back and I might do like a throwback to all the original, like the first 50 or something, listener stories, because a lot of them are really good.
I think I was episode 14 or 13.
Yeah, you were an OG, dude. You're an OG of Talking Mopars. Very cool. Were Mopars always on your radar, or was the Duster what really set it off?
The Duster did set it off, but I mean, I always enjoyed Mopars. I really thought they were some of the better looking muscle cars. And like I said, I love Dodge Rams. I love the trucks.
Yeah.
I'm amazed I fit in an A-body as comfortably as I do. I mean, I'm not exactly a small dude, but I was definitely living with, like I said, I love my 86, that W250. That's probably the one I regret getting rid of.
Yeah. Is that why you're always sending us ads of Dodge trucks? You want to get back in the game, huh?
I do. I want back in the game, but like, so I'm torn now. I'm like, do I get a 4-wheel drive? Do I go for a W series, or do I just try to D100 it out and have a good time? Like, I can't make my mind up. So that's why you guys get, I think I've sent you guys the same truck 3 times now.
Probably. Yeah.
That 71 in Oklahoma. I think I've sent you guys that like 3 times.
It's fun being on the other side, because I know I was flooding you guys for a little bit, like, oh, check this out, and now it's you. So that's good. I support any decision you make as long as it's a Dodge.
There we go.
How long do you think it's going to be before you convince Fro to get a Mopar, or do you think that's ever going to happen?
It's never going to happen. He doesn't hate him. He's definitely in this fair lane.
I get it. I get it.
And the Fairlane, just like I said, it comes down to just family history. And I think this is where a lot of this all really starts for everybody is spending time with your dad working on a car, spending time with your grandpa working on a car. It's you wind up finding that direction whether you wanted to or not. And we were actually discussing earlier, like A100 vans. I really like those. Yeah.
You're going to love the paint job I cooked up for it. I can't go into detail right now, but you guys need to listen to the new episode that comes out Sunday and just listen to the paint job we came up with.
Okay.
It's horrible.
I'll definitely be listening. The least you could do, Matt, is convince him to put a HEMI in it or something, you know?
Oh, I don't even think I could do that. I'm going to try, but.
What are you doing for that?
We can HEMI the Mazda to your heart's
content. Oh, we're gonna HEMI swap his Mazda 3.
Okay.
It is happening now.
You know what I always say? I say everything's better with a HEMI. So that's definitely something that I would love to see. That might be the first HEMI Mazda on planet Earth. Although I know the Miata guys are kind of crazy and they like to put all sorts of weird shit in those Miatas. I don't know.
Someone did put a Hellcat in a Miata.
Oh, really?
Huh. Yeah. It,
there you go.
I think it did nothing but circles. Like, I don't think they could get it didn't. I don't think it did anything.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hellcat is going to find its way into almost everything on the planet. That's going to be like, that's the answer to the guys that have a little bit more money and they want to be a little bit cooler than the LS guys. I just to like one up, I'm like, oh, you got an LS, cool. Yeah, I've got a HEMI swap I know that the Hellcat Prius. I know there was one. I'm still waiting for the Hellcat DeLorean. I'm sure someone's cooking one of those up.
I'm sure.
You know, I said Fiero on the last podcast. I haven't gotten any hate mail. I'm surprised. I guess I'm not popular enough yet.
I think someone Hellcat swapped a Grand National. I think they called it the Hell National.
Yep.
Really?
I've reached out to him. I want to get him on the podcast to talk about about the Hell National. How can he not? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I'm a car fan first and a Mopar fan second. That being said, from here on, it's always Mopar. But I do have this weird, I won't call it obsession, but I every time I see one, I get a smile, and that's the Buick Grand Nationals, the T-types, and the Cyclones and Typhoons. I don't know why. I just love those things. They're awesome. There's actually a truck wrecking yard in Linwood, Washington, pretty close to where I'm at right now. And when I went there to get ripped off on that bell crank assembly for the HEMI, I looked in the yard and I saw 1 or 2 Cyclones in there. And I was like, hey, what's the deal with those? And they're not parting them out. They're just like for show, I guess. And they're just completely rotted, just shit boxes. But it was really cool seeing them. And every time I see one on the road, it's like they're getting rarer and rarer. I just don't see them very often. So when I do, I kind of get a little excited. But definitely, I would love to bastardize one of those someday with a HEMI. That would be amazing. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I'll probably be assassinated for something like that, but that's okay. I'll die doing what I love. We have somebody new in the chat. Let's bring him in. Trev, get ready, buddy. What's up?
Just enough good from Land Valley. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, buddy. You're breaking up a little bit. I can't understand what you're saying.
I've been having that problem the whole time I've been waiting for you guys. Can you hear me?
I got you now. What's up?
Yeah, I was like, it's been chopped the whole time I've been waiting for you guys.
Your connection sucks. I really want to talk to you, buddy, but your connection sucks. So, are you on Wi-Fi right now?
Yes, I am.
Can you hardwire?
I'm on the phone, so that might be a headache. Let me see if I move closer to my router if it helps.
Yeah, I feel like we're talking to somebody on the International Space Station right now. Why don't you hook up to a landline, and then I'll bring you back in, okay? I'm gonna hold on. Do we got you yet?
Yes, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
It sounds like you're 2,000 leagues under the sea, but I think we got you. What's up? Okay, no, we don't have you.
How about
hey,
I try this again in 2 minutes?
We still don't got you, dude.
Man, well that sucks.
Okay, I got you right now. Quick, go.
Hey, you guys don't...
And you're gone again. Oh man. Okay, all right, go.
Can you hear me?
Man, barely.
My God, I was talking about all night, and I can't talk to you now.
Okay, go. Oh, there you go again.
All right, can you hear me yet?
Okay, just go for it, dude. We'll see what we can muster out of this. Go for it.
Okay, well, let's see. My collection includes a 99 MP10, a 79 D100, a 77 Ram Charger, and a whole bunch of other crap, right?
Okay.
Oh, so you can hear me. This is a fortunate turn of events.
I can barely hear you, but I'm trying. Go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah, I've been a Mopar since my grandpa bought a 2000 Ram G10 when I was like 14, I want to say.
All right, here's what we're going to do, Trev. Here's what we're going to do, buddy. I tried, but this is not going to work out. Are you on your cell phone right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How many bars do you have? I'm guessing maybe one.
I have one because I got in town.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna jump back into the chat and you're gonna talk to us from there because my listeners are losing their mind right now. All right, nothing against you, buddy. Try to get a landline or something better next time. Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for trying. Unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes, folks. This is live, and I tried. I'll give everybody a chance, but let's go over to the chat, and let's see what has transpired since we started chatting it up. Okay. Ed says, winter storage here in Minnesota. That's right. We were talking about storage earlier. Mike, damn, that's entertainment for the live. What, the nibbler? Going into the... Is he talking about going and pick and pull and nibbling stuff? Yeah, we'll do that for fun. Chris, this guy runs the Mopar, the A-Body Mopar group or page on Instagram. I can't think of the A-Body Mopar group. Is that what it is?
I believe so.
Yeah,
he actually reached out to me, and we're gonna do the sticker exchange idea.
Nice. A-Body Mopar group on Instagram. Go check it out. Chris is cracking away at it. Sometimes I see the number of likes he has. I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I sold my A-Body, so that's probably number one wrong. But Kelly's in the house. What's up, Kelly? Derek's in the house. What's up, dude? My buddy Mike talking to my good friend Mark from back in the day. Chris still need to yeah, dude. Just tell me what you want to find, dude. We'll find you something. Never thought Chris would be doing it. Yeah, neither did I, dude. Here we are. Yes, it is awesome, Mike. Thank you. My buddy Chuck. Thanks, man. We're actually getting Chuck on the show next week on Friday for a live stream because he's got some really cool stuff happening. And I won't spoil it for him, but it's awesome. So I can't wait to have him tell everybody about that. Chuck's talking about the van, my dad's van. I would put out a bounty for finding it, but I don't have any money. So that's a problem. Hey, free stickers. Somebody find that van. Chuck says he shared it to all of his Facebook groups. Thank you, buddy. Chris says the duster looks good, Matt. David says, hey, Matt. Hey, Fro. David's bragging about being older than you, Fro. So there you go.
I have to see proof.
Matt will have you got the Terminator X, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah. Derek, I'm going to 904 my HEMI swap. My friend has an 800 horsepower duster that runs a 904 and runs 10s. There you go.
There we go.
I mean, if it's strong enough to have 800 horsepower and run 10s, that passes my sniff test. You know what I mean? What throttle body are you running, Matt, on your 5.7?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I just know I'm thinking about getting it from Modern Muscle Extreme. Since they specialize mainly with the HEMI stuff. They have a couple of options that aren't like absolutely bank breaking because we are on a budget.
Sure. Our buddy Trevor. God, I really wanted to hear his stories, man. He said he's got some stories. I really wanted to hear him. That's a bummer. Ed, referring to you, bud, says great story. I was trying to bounce back and forth just to make sure I had this timeline correct for when I went back through it because I'm horrible. Once we get into a story, I hate to stop it to read the chat. But for everybody in the chat, just know that I'm seeing what you're saying, and I promise we'll get to you. So, Trevor, try to get a better connection. We'll try you next time. I'll give you as many opportunities as you want, dude. But tonight just wasn't in the cards. Carlisle is on my bucket list, and this year would have been the year for me to go because apparently they're having a Mr. Norm exhibit or a tribute, and that would be awesome for my truck to be at, but I can't pull it off, unfortunately. When I found that out, I was pretty bummed because Carlisle was one that I was like, okay, I need to for sure take the week off and make a trip out of it because there's a lot of stuff back east that I really want to see. I would like to get down to the Wellborn Muscle Car Museum. Have any of you guys been there?
Nope, I'd love to go.
Always wanted to.
Dude.
What kind of museum Fro's never been to?
You got a van.
Been the most.
Well, the Wellborn Muscle Car Museum is probably, for a Mopar guy, probably the coolest museum. I mean, I personally can't think of another museum I would rather see more.
Brothers, if they allow the public in. That's
true. There is the Brothers collection. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, so I won't say it. Never mind. Maybe if you have a big enough pocketbook, maybe you could pay to go have a private tour. I don't know. I'm just, guessing. Ed says, just don't paint your Mopar black under unless it's a black car. That never bothered me until people started talking about it, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm not a real Mopar guy unless it bothers me. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Except for you, Fro. We know where you stand. But
I mean, that was one thing that made Mopars unique, was that they were body color everywhere.
Sure.
And I like it.
Me too. I do like it. Curtis, what about you, buddy?
I would never do it to my own car, but if I bought one that was already done, I don't know if I would hate it as much. But they're good. They're cool having the body color there.
Yeah. Matt, how do you feel?
Mine's going back EV2.
Yeah.
Nice.
I every once in a while I'll come across a car on Craigslist when I'm hunting Mopars for the Facebook page, and I'll be like, oh, that one looks really good, and I'll be looking, and then I'll see a picture of the engine bay and it's black, and before it did, like 5 years ago, it didn't bother me as much, but I think I've been poisoned by the Mopar community, and now it bothers the hell out of me. Like if I see a B5 car, I'm like, beautiful B5, and then under the hood is like semi-gloss black. I'm like, really? Come on, man. Especially like, it's almost like that's how you can spot a cheap Mopar guy when he's got a really nice paint job and you pop the hood and it's like flat black or something.
It's even worse when you find one of those cars, you go to the engine bay, it's a black engine bay with an LS.
There's a really cool van. I really want to get him on the show. I don't know if I'm going to catch hate for it, but it's the Boogaloo van. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Bud, it might be up your alley because he's got some amazing paint work done to that thing. So check it out on Instagram, the Boogaloo van. I reached out to him, was like, love to get you on the show, blah, blah, blah. And like one of his responses was, you might hate it because it's got an LS in it. And my heart dropped into my chest. And I was like, the coolest van that I know of online right now has an LS in it. So that kind of broke my heart, but that's the way the game goes, I guess. Mark, this is a buddy from a personal friend from back in the day. Watch how the fanny packers come for you. Yeah. You never know what they got in those fanny packs. Ed says that's one good thing about snow and cold. It kills all the crap. Kurt, I went rogue in the 90s with a 71 Nova and learned from my mistake. If you're going to get a Nova 69, 71, was it 71 or 72 where they really got shitty? Or 73?
After 70, you couldn't get a big block anymore. And then 73, they kept the general shape the same, but they changed the quarter area on the window, and the front end was kind of sunk in because of the 5 mile an hour bumper rule, stuff like that.
Did the Nova only come with a 396, or did it also come with a 454?
Nope, 396. L89 being the highest option, unless you bought a Yanko, which would be very like 12 of or something. So.
Chris, what's up, buddy? I think Hoonigan showcased the Miata. Okay. Yeah, of course they did. They probably built the damn thing. Okay, I like this. Dakota all-wheel drive Hellcat. I'm in.
Yeah.
Trevor says I'll try again next week. Yeah, buddy. Sorry, man. I really wanted to get you on. This show is an open forum for any Mopar enthusiast.
Is he rocking a 3-wheeler in his profile picture?
Yeah. Yes. I like this guy.
I do too.
Yeah. I think he had a fat dip in his mouth too. I was like, all right, we could probably be friends. Let's talk. Maybe that's why we couldn't understand him. He came on, he's like, I was like, we'll try. But it was definitely his connection. I think his computer hates him because he's like, can you guys hear me? We're like, yes. And then it's like, so that was rough. But we'll try again next week, buddy. Jason Gibbons says, no Johnny Mopar tonight. Hey, Jason, what are you, falling in love? He's gone. He's not here. He's out racing his truck. He's supposed to, Matt, didn't he say he was going to come and
he said he would probably try to watch, but he didn't think he'd be able to just hop on.
Okay. Well, Johnny, if you're watching, you're missed. Jason misses you. And we do too. Johnny always brings a little flavor to the show. You know, he's like the salt. The man in a van down by the river. Yes, I will definitely. Chris Farley, one of my favorites. Rest in peace. Here's a funny story that nobody knows. When I was creating the intro to the show, originally with the intro music and stuff, it used to start off with the scene from Black Sheep with the cop where he goes, do you know how fast you were going? And Chris Farley goes, well, it's got a 426 HEMI in her. And then the music was going to drop, but I was so scared that I was going to get sued that I decided not to do that. But I still have it somewhere, and it's a badass intro. I thought it was so cool, but I never had the balls to play it. I might have the balls now. Who knows? Philip says, if you really need a story, I have a couple. 72 Charger SE and 69 GTX, 2 different stories. Hey, come on the show sometime. Tell us. Chris says, I painted mine black. Carl eventually black. Excuses, Chris. We don't hate you, though. 85 350X. He's proud of that sucker. No stories about that, though. This is a Mopar show, even though I talked about mopeds for about 45 minutes one time.
Oh, man, the moped stories were great.
Talking mopeds.
Yeah.
Oh. Kurt says his Nova had a 327 vet motor. I got a fanny pack with it. I hope that some Corvette guy just watches this just happens to swing in. It's like, I can't believe they're talking shit, and gets droves of his buddies, and they all start swinging fanny packs at us. Ronald says, hey guys, listening while driving and texting from DC to NC, hauling my rebuilt 518 Trans, going into a modded J-body Cordoba. Good listening to you. That's awesome, dude. Finally. Yeah, there's some cars that I have not shown love to yet on the show, and it is definitely coming. The J bodies, I mean, gosh, there's so many, and I get probably 1 or 2 messages a month about all the other Mopars that I haven't talked about yet. And God, there's so much to talk about. I decided that a direction that I'd like to take this show, because I really like doing these lives, and it's kind of a bummer because I also really like doing high performance heritage episodes and things like that. But I thought it would be cooler because I have to do a lot of research for those episodes because I don't know a lot about a lot. And I thought it would be fun to start searching for people that were really educated about certain models and certain special times in Mopar history and things like that, and bringing them on the show to teach not only me, but everybody. So that's something I'm working on. So if there are any J-body guys out there, Turbo Mopar guys that listen to this, or if you know of anybody that's an expert in one area of Mopars that you would like to hear from on the show, get at me, Chris at talkingmopars.com. Let me know who you want to see on the show, and I'll reach out to them. I have a list. I got to catch up on all my stuff. I have a list of people that people have suggested and that I've reached out to that are going to come on the show. But now with the live, it's a whole different dynamic. So I got to reach back out to people and let them know what's changed and see if they're still interested in coming on the show. Trevor says, what do you guys know about the A864 and the A990 Superstalkers? I'll tell you what, A990s are next to the 68 Dart. They're my favorite because of the lightweight panels that Chrysler did. I don't know. Were they acid dipped? I think they were acid dipped, right?
They're aluminum, I thought, weren't they?
Are they aluminum? They were either aluminum or acid dipped. I might have my facts mixed up.
I think acid dipped.
Yeah, I think they're acid dipped.
Okay. I know that they're super rare. And I listened to, I think it was a podcast, and they were talking, I'm trying to remember where it was, but I said this on one of the episodes I did about the Ram Chargers, and that's that I don't know very much about the early 60s Mopars. but it's definitely a subject that I want to cover. I believe the A 990 is on my list. I have to go back to it because I don't like to cover things that I don't know shit about. So I like to give myself some time to learn enough to, at least educate other people. So what I'll say about them is I think they're cool and I don't know a lot about them. That's just me being honest. I do know that they have badass engines because that's the Max Wedge era. And if you go back and listen to the Ram Chargers episode, and I think I did a episode, I'd have to look it up. I've done so many, I forget now. I'm pretty sure I did an episode about the Max Wedge engines. I'd have to go back. I know there was a bunch of stuff about the Max Wedge cars, but definitely a subject that I want to talk about. Maybe Trevor was going to come on and tell us all about them, and he didn't get a chance. Kurt says Bloomington Gold. Was that the color of his Nova?
I believe that's a Corvette high standard.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know. Vet club that sued MCG.
I'm assuming that's a Mopar Collector's Guide.
Yeah. A vet club sued him? Huh.
Well, Bloomington Gold, or maybe is what he's saying, was the club that sued Mopar's Collector's Guide.
Why would they do that?
I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
Jason says they were acid dipped. There's something, I think Bud's onto something with aluminum. Were they aluminum panels that were acid dipped? I don't know.
I'm only going with the when I was at Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, there was one there, a Max Wedge car, and it had the old school lettering that was all faded off, and it said, "Don't lean aluminum on the fender," or something to that effect. That's the only thing, because I don't know a lot about them either. So
interesting. I mean, that tells me that they were aluminum. So could they have been acid dipped aluminum? I don't know.
Like I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert at anything early. Yeah,
sure.
Or anything in general. So
no, I hear you. Worked with Greg Rager, is that the name? With Mopar Muscle Mag on the Moby Doba project in the 90s. I don't know about that project, but it sounds pretty cool. I'm guessing it was a white Cordoba. That's just me putting one and one together to create two. I don't know. Sorry, Trevor. Next time, buddy. Hopefully. I have a 64, but only a 318. No Max Wedge. Well, you can always do something about that, dude. Who the hell is this?
It's not one of us.
It's not one of us. I can only assume it's someone that was paid by me.
He's one of your OnlyFans subscribers, bro.
We're not supposed to talk about that here.
Kurt says they own. Oh, the Bloomington Gold said they own the rights to the word survivor. Okay,
it's neat.
I mean, that's in the world of T-shirts and stuff like that. It's amazing what people can trademark. There's so many dumb things, like phrases and things that are trademarked that are so ridiculous you can't even put them on a shirt without getting your pantsuit off. Ask me how I know about that. Ed says maybe aluminum front clips and acid dipped bodies. Maybe. Now, God, I'm gonna have to write this down. I have a growing list of stuff that I've written down during these shows that I need to get on top of. I always end up having all these lists and stuff, and I get so far behind, I stop looking at them. Like, God, damn, that's a lot. Okay. Hey, get off the guy's nuts. All right.
It's not me, I promise.
It better not be Maddox. He's sitting up in his nice little new office.
That is possible.
Whoever it is, they created an account. That's dedication. That's dedication. They might be thinking about wearing a fro suit. You know what I mean? Cutting your skin off and wearing you as you know what I mean? A couple fro lampshades in their house. You know, some weird shit.
Oh, let's hope not.
An hour 30 in, and we've gone off the rails, folks. That's what happens.
That's pretty much our MO over here.
Hey, it hasn't hit moped talk yet, so we're good.
Or fast
I got a
talk.
great story about mopeds.
All right, go. Let's go, Fro. Do it.
There was a point. There were about 9 of us friends that rented a shop together, and what it was is it was the back bays of an old Chevy dealership.
Okay.
So we all hung out together. We were all there pretty much every night. And at one point we had reached the phase where we decided we were buying mopeds. So there's 9 grown men riding mopeds around a small town at about 3 o'clock in the morning. There may have been some beverages involved, and we may have gotten chased by the police. I'm a large man. My moped did not go fast. I got to have a talk with the police.
What did they say when they saw? Sir, we saw a prospect rocker on your little leather jacket there. We got to talk to you about that.
We didn't get to that point, but it was contemplated.
As long as it didn't say property of Mad Dog or something like that, you're probably okay.
See, that would be Maddox's handle. That would be Mad Dog.
Yeah, that would be Maddox's handle.
I didn't even put that together. That just came into my head. That's hilarious. Kurt says, Ron wrote several columns on his hatred of the group and how ridiculous the whole thing was. That sounds pretty ridiculous. Corvette guys. We own the word survivor. That's funny. Maybe talk to Webster about that. I'm not a stalker. Okay. I'm really curious now.
Glad we cleared that up.
I'll have to find out for you. This has got to be one of those things that eventually comes to details, right? Somebody's got to know.
Yeah, I think we'll find out sooner or later. If you start getting D pics in your DMs, don't share those with us, okay? I'm not quite sure what to expect from this freak show. Writing man peds. That's funny. Where are we at? So I found out something interesting. The last time I did this live, we went for 4 hours and 18 minutes, which to me is just insane. And apparently StreamYard, the platform that I use for these, apparently I'm not on their top tier program or something, and I can't go over 4 hours. I can play it and stream it live, but if I want to download the recording, it only allows me to download 4 hours of it. So we're definitely not going 4 hours tonight, boys. Sorry. But I just thought you all should know that we probably won't be doing any episodes of Direct Connections live that go over 4 hours for that reason, because I like to at least share them. And I'm kind of, it bothers me that those 18 minutes are lost. And I know that there's a couple ways I can get the recordings, but still going to bother me that those 18 minutes, the only way you can see them or hear them are through the Facebook page. But we'll figure that out later. I think that's it for comments. All right, where are we at here? An hour and 30 minutes. Does anybody have anything else they want to contribute to the show before we call it a night? And I'm only saying that because I don't want to. I don't want to have any dead air because of me, because I'm winging it tonight. No subject, just talking Mopars with my buddies. So the floor is open. What's up, guys?
Where are you at with the Mr. Norm truck?
Mr. Norm truck is in the driveway right now. It's dead in the water because people are going to laugh at this. I didn't realize the thing didn't have a fuel filter on it. Now, I was having problems getting it started. It was starting to be a hard start. And then finally, it started dying on me after idling for about 10 minutes. So I bought a fuel filter and a fuel pump for it. I'm going to throw those on. I have an Edelbrock intake I want to throw on it. And then I'm going to make some adjustments on the carb and go from there. But it was running good, but then every once in a while it would fall on its face. And it wasn't consistent at all. So when I realized, I can't believe I missed this. When I realized it didn't have a filter on it, I was like, So I've got some new fuel line, and I'm probably gonna crack that carb open and just see, what kind of destruction has happened, because I'm assuming that it's not getting fuel. If it's sitting there idling fine and then it just dies, to me it sounds like a fuel problem. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has a better idea. That would be a no. No better ideas.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's probably fuel.
That's what I'm thinking. So usually, like with these things, they're so simple. It's got to be something easy. You know what I mean? And if it was idling perfect and then just died, I'm like, with no filter on it, and there was the fuel leak at the pump. There's just too many fuel related issues that I'm having that I need to look into, because I've said it a couple of times. The first time I wanted to see if it was a one peel squeal, it fell right on its face, and I was like, that's weird. And then the second time I did it, it didn't. So it's been very inconsistent with when it falls on its face. So it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint exactly what it is. But when I got the truck, my intention was always to go through it, because I always tell people to go through their cars when they get them, safety check them and all that, which I didn't do. So I went against my own advice. So now I'm going to go through, give the truck a tune up, and pretty much replace all the things that you would want to replace. Cause I don't know how many miles the truck really has on it. Under 100,000 is the guess. Or we'll say around 80,000 original miles, unless it's turned over. In that case, it would be closer to 200,000. So I'm just going to replace all the normal things you would replace on a service, and then go from there, because I need it to be somewhat reliable, because I really want to cruise it during the summertime. So that's where I'm at on the truck. I do need to address that rear suspension, because that worries me a little bit. I'm pretty sure I talked about that, how everything's all cockeyed in the back on the driver's side. There's something weird going on back there. So I may just replace a bunch of stuff. Who knows? Tad wants to come on. Tad, if you go to the top of the chat, I posted a link to get on screen. So jump on. I'll probably stay on at the latest another 20 minutes. So we'll probably end around 2 hours. So Matt, what's next on the list for the Duster? Where are you at? What are you doing next?
What I'm doing next is I gotta get I still gotta get the slant transmission out. And pretty much what we're gonna start doing there is I gotta get all the cleanup that needs to happen, like all the old body putty and everything else that's seam sealer, everything. It's all got to come off, because we're going to be redoing everything. So just a whole lot of boring cleaning that I don't think anybody would want to see on a video, but I'm still going to try to put together some YouTube videos.
I've ran across some videos on YouTube. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there were videos that I normally would have just skipped across, but I saw how many views they had, and I was like, that's interesting. I got to check that out. One of them was somebody posted on Facebook really recently, within the past day or two, that they got a Harbor Freight welder, multi-process, the titanium brand, I guess it would be. And I was curious, because I've heard good things about those things, but I've never used one. So I ended up YouTubing Harbor Freight welders just to see what people were doing with them, because I was like, oh, well, if you're curious enough, you just go on YouTube and see what people are doing. And there was one where the guy was he was using flux core. He was using like a 125, like the cheapest Harbor Freight welder you could get, to see if you could do body work and make it look half-ass decent, and doing patch panels with a flux core welder. So I was really interested to see, because that, I mean, in my opinion, you'd probably burn through, right? I mean, that's, with the garbage welder, that's what I was expecting. But, it didn't turn out that bad. And a lot of people must be in the market for lower cost welders, or maybe just getting into welding, because I saw a lot of views on a lot of those videos where people were talking about using flux core. Now, I don't know if that's because people are scared of gas or what, but it's definitely an interesting topic. I haven't welded since high school, and it was all gas. So I don't know.
It might be a cost thing.
It could be a cost thing too.
You gotta get a cylinder and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And
what's your opinion on flux core welding for like at home auto body stuff? Small patch panels.
I use an SP100 Lincoln. I use gas, so I've never used flux core on a car.
Yeah. I was actually pretty surprised because you get all the spatter and shit. And what do we have? What you guys? Who's using a flux core? Matt, is it you?
I've never welded a thing in my life.
I haven't done any body work. All mine's been floor pans.
So I think Fro used the flux core on his floor pans.
How'd that work out, dude?
You will get some burn through on some of it, yes.
Yeah.
It's a tedious process.
How much adjustability did your machine have? Because one of the videos the guy was talking about to practice a little bit first and get your settings right, or you're gonna be frustrated because you're gonna be burning through shit and you're just gonna have to go back over it.
But if you're using the cheap Harbor Freight welder, there's really not that much adjustability anyway. So
sure. Is that the one you were using?
Figure out where you're going.
Is that the one you were using?
Yes.
Yeah. They're like $100, right?
Right at.
And it got the job done, right?
I'm definitely going to have somebody go back and do some more welding with a better quality welder. But they're in place. They're where they're supposed to be.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because it got me thinking, because I was like, how much is that little 125? And it was like $200. And I was like, it might be something nice to have around the house for like lawnmowers and stuff. But I was really curious about if anybody had experience doing any type of small patchwork with it. And I found a couple of videos and they had quite a few views. So
I've done a little bit with it, but because that's what I started on when my dad had one. But for another couple $100, they've got that Vulcan series now.
Okay.
I'd go that route. I mean, you have a shielding gas, you're going to have way better results.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at what you get the cheap one for $100 or $200, depending on if you go with the Chicago one or the one above that. Yeah, I would say save up a little bit of money or find someone that can weld. Let's go back to the chat really quick.
I sent you a link to those pictures of that CUDA if you wanted to share that.
In the chat? Okay, yeah, let me check that out. We got let me see what we got here.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. We got another gentleman joining us on the stream. Phil, let's hope your audio is better than Trev's.
Well, I hope it is.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, not much. I know we're just listening to you guys talk about old Mopars, and it's kind of cool how everybody, kind of has the little thing that gets you into them. Mm-hmm. And so, real quick about my 72 Charger that I had when I was in high school in southern Idaho. My buddy his brother had this 72. It was black with a white top, just a little 318 car. And he says, my brother's selling it. All he wants is $800 for it. And this was 2000, I think. And I had just started working in a potato factory. And I says, hey, Dad, if you loan me the $800, I'll pay you back in a couple weeks. And he says, if you want it that bad, you'll figure out a way to get it. Well, I didn't figure out a way to get it. And my buddy bought it from his brother, and his mom had an old Newport sitting out in the field. So he ripped out the 440 and the rear end and put under it and had the trans rebuilt. And that's what he drove it all through high school. And he had a big Metallica sticker across the back window. And my buddy Corey, he's I don't know, like 6'4", 6'5", and we called him Monkey Nuts all through high school. And that was just Monkey Nuts' car, Well, I ended up some years later in my career in the military able to afford it, and he'd kind of had his fun with it. And so I got the opportunity to buy this car, but like I said, I'm up in North Pole, and so I had to go all the way down to South Idaho and then trailer it back. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I drove it all over the couple summers I had it up here. And then I got accepted to flight school down in Alabama.
Cool.
And yeah, the thing that wasn't cool was I had to ship that car down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the military contractors, there was a contractor that really everybody liked them. They took care of your ride. And they lost the contract to this new company. This new company just sucks.
Oh.
And my wife had to go get it for me because it showed up in Georgia, and she had to rent a trailer, a U-Haul trailer, and take my Dodge pickup to go get it, get a babysitter for the kids, and all that shit. She shows up, and the battery's dead, and it had a B&M ratchet shift in it. There was a pair of vice grips attached to the end of the shifter cable, and they had completely destroyed my shifter. And she got over there. I don't know. It was probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and they says, "Well, we don't have nobody to help get it up on the trailer," and so she had to come all the way back over to Alabama and go back the next day with the kids. And they had enough people. They pushed it up on there. And I was flying, learning how to fly at the time, so I couldn't do it. Well, she got the car back home, and I got a battery in it. And it wouldn't start because it was stuck in drive. It was stuck in drive because they were doing burnouts in my car. And somehow the headers were too close to the plastic on the shifter cable. And it melted that cable. And so whenever you went to move it into gear or whatever, it just popped out the cable.
Oh, man.
And these dudes wanted to argue like that's how we got it. And I'm like, the hell it is. So
wow.
I had to email the CEO of the company with pictures explaining what happened. And it was a big to-do. And finally, they said, yeah, we'll pay to fix your car. Well, kind of a crappy thing. I still have my house in Alaska while I'm in Alabama, and the real estate agent that we hired to manage it, that dude, he was straight trash. He never got anybody in my house. So I'm paying my mortgage in Alaska and getting less pay in Alabama because I don't get a housing allowance when you live on the base. And so 6 months goes by, and I racked up credit cards, and like the last thing I have that I can sell to pay bills so my house doesn't start becoming late was my Charger.
Oh, man.
So I ended up having to sell it down there in Alabama. And luckily I got a new project now. But
what do you got now?
A 69 Satellite.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, B7. And it's a 4-door, but it's cool. I think.
Hell yeah.
I got it because I got 4 kids. So room's an issue.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm going to do, it sounds kind of corny, is kind of make an A12 tribute out of a 4-door.
I like it. I like the sound of that. I say it, you can hear me say it quite a bit on the show that there's a certain segment of Mopars that I don't think get a lot of love, and that's the sedans. I think they're cool. And I think that it's a bad move not to jump on clean ones right now because I see them coming up in price. So.
Yeah, and it was $5,000, a little 318 904 in it.
Yeah.
I bought it in Wasilla, which is farther south. It's about a 6-hour drive or so from Fairbanks, and it made it almost all the way home before it didn't want to run. But it was only $5,000, and the body's really clean, fairly low miles. The interior is actually really nice.
Nice.
See, my problem is like I'm sure yours is I can't stop looking at freaking Craigslist and other shit.
It's a disease, dude.
Man.
To which there's no cure.
3 days after I paid $5,000 for this satellite, there was a 69 Super Bee for $3,500 in Anchorage.
What?
And I was like, oh, like you were saying earlier, when you have the money, nothing's for sale. Then you buy it and you're like, man.
Wow.
I know. I was a little bummed about that.
That's where a Super Bee for $3,500, I might be I might be doing anything it takes to get that $3,500.
I don't know if I'd still be married if I tried to make that one work, man.
Oh gosh. I mean, how much do you love your wife? I know I love mine a lot. 69 Super B for $3,500. That's I'd have to make some sacrifices. Not my wife. I might have to try to find a sucker for the van, sell it to him for $4,000.
Man, I wish I could have found a way, but as you can guess, it went super quick. I was checking every few hours to see if it was there, and it was only up for 3 or 4 hours, and somebody bought it.
It's crazy that it was up for that long. I can't imagine that Mopars turn up too often in Alaska.
No, and they really don't. And it's weird because Alaskans are really bad at hoarding shit. And so one of my buddies, he was living off of kind of a back road out, I guess, north of North Pole. And I went out to help him move a couch, and I took a way out of his place I don't normally do, and there was a duster sitting there that was flat black. And I was like, man, you need to find out who owns that. Well, he never did, and then he had to move, but it's still sitting there, you know. And there's rumor Delta Junction's a little town out to the east of us. There's rumor there's a 70 Superbird in Delta in some dude's garage just chilling.
Wow. Start knocking on doors.
Man.
God.
Well, I think by the end of the year, I think we're going to be down in Idaho.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I grew up there and found a really good deal on a place that has 3 shops on it. Not garages, like full-on freaking shops.
Where's this place at? I'm looking for a new house. This part of Washington's a little bit too liberal for me.
I know. I'm on this other side.
Yeah.
So my brother-in-law's an infantry dude there at JBLM, and my sister hates it.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous these days. I used to love where I lived, but it's not the way it used to be. I always thought Seattle was more of like a do whatever you want, just don't hurt other people type thing. And now it's like, you know, people are getting up in your business. I don't like that. Cause it's moving north too. I live north of Seattle, and I can see how the people look at, my cars and stuff. When I brought the van home, see, on my side of the street, there's a right in front of my house is a sign that says no parking this side. You damn straight, when I got that van, I was like, well, I'm going to take the trailer back tomorrow, and I need someone's help offloading this van. So I'm going to park the van on the trailer with my truck right in front of my house, right in front of the sign that says no parking this side. And I dare the HOA to say something to me about it. And I know, just pissed them off. And I recently saw a sticker on, I think it was a Marketplace, that said, my neighbors love this van. I'm getting that sticker just to piss them off.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We got another friendly face in the chat. Big Red. Is this the same Big Red that I read your story on the show? Oh,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, sir.
Sorry, my mic was off.
It's all good, man. I read your story, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
Remind me, was it the newer Mopar?
Yeah, it was the Black Magnum.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But I got to racing when I was in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. See, my memory isn't all completely shot. Sometimes I'm pretty good at remembering things. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
You guys were talking about a bunch of kind of interesting things about the sedans. Yeah. And probably about a month ago, I seen one for sale for around $30K.
A sedan?
Yeah, it was a 70 Satellite.
Really?
And they put the Roadrunner, the scoops on the side, and cloned it as a Roadrunner.
Really?
It had the stripes. It was orange with a tan interior. It was a really nice car, but $30,000 was
it's a stretch.
A little unusual for a sedan.
Yeah, it's a big stretch.
I think I remember that car, and I think it had a legit air grabber hood and everything on it.
Really?
I saw the same one on Facebook is where I saw it, I believe.
Yeah, that's where I seen it. It was really a nice car.
It was.
But a sedan.
See, that's all. Gosh, it really is subjective. You know, if that guy who really wants a sedan and has deep pockets sees that thing, he might fall in love and go 30 grand. Yes, I want it. You know what I mean? You never can tell. Yeah, I don't think I saw that one. That one definitely would have made it onto the Mopar Hunter Facebook page. I definitely would have shared something like that. 30 grand. You know, I'm an optimist, and some things are just, I don't comment on them too much, but some things are crazy. I know. Have any of you guys seen Mike Coffey's latest acquisition?
Yeah,
the Challenger.
God, that man. I've been watching the comments, popcorn in hand. It is fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And it's funny because, like, you know, Mike says 40 grand. Okay. He really doesn't want to sell the car. He would like to keep it. But we all know that he would sell it for less than 40 grand. Who's going to come up there with cash? You know what I mean? It's like people see these prices and they seem to think, now some of these people are firm on their price and they're just insane. We know that. But it never hurts to see what somebody will want for a car. But
and for what that car is, he's not that far off.
I don't think he, but see, and then there are two ways to look at it, because I mean, Bud, you work in a restoration shop. How much would it cost to restore that car? Thousands upon tens of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, you might be in it. God, when it's all said and done, I mean, gosh, probably close to six figures, I would imagine, you know, if you wanted everything like perfect, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a hefty investment, but you know, what's it going to be worth 20 years from now? You know, is that $100,000 let's call it 100 grand total. Is that $100,000 investment going to net you 50 grand in the future? You never know. You never know what's going to happen with the economy. So, or the collectability of these things. So, gosh, it's a lot of money for me. I obviously don't have $40,000 cash, but
I don't either.
If I had enough money to throw around where I'm like, I can buy a project car for $30,000 or $40,000 cash, I probably don't give a shit what it costs to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm throwing that much money around, and like, I love the people that talk the smack and they're like, oh, well, I could buy that car if I wanted to, but it's a piece of shit and I don't want it. It's like, oh, well, yeah. Okay, dude. Like, there's that one guy who was talking shit. He's like, I could buy it if I wanted. And I was like, when I see that kind of stuff, I have to do a little spy detective work. I'm like, all right, what's this guy all about? And he's selling a bunch of Fox body parts on Marketplace. And I was like, I mean, probably can't afford it, but that's okay. You know, I
love Mike's comments on your page.
Oh, it's amazing.
They kill me.
Oh yeah. As soon as I saw the car, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I already knew that it was going to end up, because if he didn't share it on my page, you damn right, I was going to put it on there just to see what would happen. But yeah, it's a really cool car. Man, if it was a V code or a HEMI car, it wouldn't even be a question if it was worth 40 grand. You know what I mean? That's just one of those cars that you don't, and it does check all the boxes, you know, except for a couple.
Was it someone paint that white? Did I see? Was the fender tag as an FC7?
It is an FC7 car, yes.
That's what I thought. They put a blue reflective stripe on the driver's side, though, or something.
I'd have to look at the pictures again. That sounds familiar, but yeah, he pulled up the carpet. It is FC7. It's got FC7 on the tag.
The tag was just really crusty. It was hard to read.
It was. That's another thing that pisses me off when when the color is found on other places of the car, but somebody painted the tag. You know, I see a lot of rattle can tags. I'm like, why would you do that? You know, maybe they're rusting out and they wanted to try to preserve them. Who knows? But I think the car's pretty cool. Would I pay $40,000 even if I had $40,000? That's debatable, because I know there's a lot of cool cars out there that are $40,000. But it's funny when people, like that guy, he was comparing those restored Challengers to that one, and you can't always compare cars like that, because, you know, like Mike was saying, well, is it a true U code 4-speed super track pack, you know, car, or is it a 318, you know, JH car that they just put a big block in and dressed up like an RT, you know? And then you've got other guys that are like, oh, I paid 28 grand for this one and it's a clone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, what direction do you go? You really are comparing apples to oranges, really. It's like comparing a Superbird project for 60 grand to a satellite clone Superbird for 30 grand that's done. You want the real bird or do you want the fake one? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I bounce back and forth, but that kind of stuff is definitely entertaining. Mike's hilarious when he gets that kind of stuff. But Big Red, what are you working on these days? You still got the Magnum or what?
Yeah, that's kind of my Sunday driver, and every day I go out and work on. I got a '68 Cornet station wagon.
Did you have that when you wrote the story? I forget.
I did. I don't think I mentioned it though.
Okay, what's the story with that thing?
We got it out of. So I live in Ohio. Okay. Me and a buddy drove like 3 hours to go look at this thing, and the guy wanted like $2,500 for it. No motor, no trans, just basically a shell. Interior was trashed, and he made it sound like it was a lot nicer shape than it was. So I was ready to walk on it, and my buddy talked him down, and we got it for like $1,200, a B-body wagon.
That's not bad.
No. So it's getting a Magnum 5.9.
Okay.
46 RE 9.25 out of a Dakota RT. I'm building it to be a daily.
Nice. What is it? You like wagons, don't you?
What
is it about wagons?
I just like the long roofs. I don't know.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, my first car was a 91 Caprice.
A wagon?
Wagon.
With the wood on it?
It did not have the wood.
Okay. All right.
I do not like the wood grain.
So you either love it or hate it. I actually like it on the on like the K cars, like the K car wagons. I would like the turbo front wheel drive.
Yeah, the 2.2s.
yeah. I like those. Would I ever buy one? Probably not. But one guy had me. I photoshopped an '87 red Shelby Daytona to see what mine would look like lowered with some wheels on it. And this guy hit me up and he's like, dude, you're really good with Photoshop. Can you Photoshop my car? And I was like, sure. And it was one of those woody wagons. I was like, what do you want me to Photoshop? And he goes, just slam it to the ground. I was like, all right, just slam the shit out of it, send it back to him. He's like, yes. I was like, whatever floats your boat, dude. But Big Red, I got a question for you. Why do they call you Big Red?
Well, I'm 6'5", 350 pounds, and I have red hair.
Yeah, sarcasm. No, that's funny, dude. Cool, man. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Let's take a look at the chat one more time. Where did Fro go, Matt?
He had to head to the house.
I see. I want to know who this Fro lover is.
Yeah, they seem to know him.
Where did we stop? Oh yeah, Tad was trying to get on. Sorry, Tad. I sent you the. Maybe come on next time. I know you got a lot of stories, dude. Jason says I have a 70 Duster Hemi swap just finished. Awesome, dude.
There you go.
Hell yeah, Hemi swap the world. Trevor says, who's got some 440 speed parts? I need my Ram Charger to do wheelies. Contact Mancini Racing or... There he is.
Yeah, figured it out.
Let me swap. Trade you for a 4-barrel intake for a 318 poly. Kurt says a heartbreaking Superbird story and a heartwarming tale of a boy and his rotor. What carb is on the truck now? Edelbrock AVS2, if you're talking to me. Trash in the tank. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. I thought it was getting gunked up. I'm going to pull the line off this weekend and just see what we got going on in there. Tad. Is Fro sick? He's being oddly nice. You totally can. I use the HR welder. I'm assuming he meant FR as in Harbor Freight. Or am I not? Who knows? Tad, get back to me on that, dude. I want to know about your equipment because I thought it was hilarious when he shows us this immaculate vinyl top on his Super B, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it with this little heat gun from Harbor Freight." And I'm like, "See, you don't need expensive shit." I love it. Tad's always full of surprises. God, that was a fun episode. Chris says being on the phone, I can't scroll over this. Trying to get on. Chris, okay. Oh yeah, Big Red is Chris. Man, see what happens. You guys use nicknames on me. Did the entire be with one of the welding wire makes a huge difference? Okay, so I did hear that, Tad. I heard that throw out the wire that comes with it and get some better wire, and you'll get better results. Yeah, we can't get to the top of the list on our phone. I don't know why, dude. I said we were going to cut it off at 2 hours, and we're going 2:05 now, so we're going to get ready to shut her down. Curtis, I cannot highlight this link, so we'll have to come on the show. Come on the next live stream, okay? And then I'll try to remember to get on to the chat and then just copy and paste that for next time. Okay. Mike Coffee.
I texted it to you too, so.
All right, cool. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, Mike, don't worry. We weren't talking about you the whole time. Yeah. Ed says, go wagons. My 64 is a wagon. Cool, dude. I'm going to be a hard pass only because I'm broke.
you got to go, oh, so it's not worth 40K. It's maybe 4K. You dropped to zero somewhere.
Oh God, so yes. I love that shit. I was telling Mike, I was like, I wish all these guys that are the appraisers, I wish that they had the awesome Mopars, because you know damn well they wouldn't sell them for that cheap. But
I know,
put their money where their mouth is. I'll buy them all day. I'll figure out a way. You know what I mean? It's just
everybody's a flipper.
Gosh, I don't have a problem with flippers. I have a problem more so with, because flipping, I mean, that's how you get the good shit. Let's be honest here. Mike Coffee has flipped some shit, and that's why he has cool shit. That's all there is to it. You know what I mean? So there is there's definitely a way to get yourself up in the game. No, I agree. I'm with you, buddy. I'm curious to see, because I remember Mike had the 70 Barracuda, was it? And it was like 25. And there was so many people talking shit about that car. And guess what? It sold. So guess who got the last laugh on that one? Oh, 71 Barracuda. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Mike. I'm gonna go live again next week. Probably Saturday. I'm doing a show on Friday night with Chuck. Saturday night I'll probably come on and do a live too. That'll be an open forum. Yeah, turnkey with a 440 and it was solid. Yeah, I liked the Barracuda. I was surprised it got so much hate. All right, Trevor, looking forward to it, buddy. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and call it a night.
I got a quick question for Curtis, though.
Oh, yeah.
If that's okay.
Let's hear it. Go for it, man.
What intake are you going to run on that stroker?
I haven't figured it out yet. I've got two Edelbrock LD4Bs sitting around. I'll probably shove one on there right now. It kind of depends. I haven't decided on a cam or what I'm going to do yet. I know. Gotcha. I'm in the very beginning stages of it. I bought the motor and figured out the crank needed some work, and it's only a couple $100 more to buy a kit rather than fix what I have.
I see. I just didn't know if you're going to offload an LD4B here before long.
I do have a spare.
Yeah. Oh, we can talk about that outside of this, I suppose.
Yep. Get a hold of me.
What did you figure out about heads, Curtis?
For right now, everyone I've talked to says I should be fine with the stock heads. That Mopars used a harder seat than Fords and Chevys. If it was one of them, for sure would need to get different seats. So I'm just gonna run it. I mean,
see what happens.
My dad's never had issues with them. Anyone else I've talked to has never had issues. So if it sucks a valve, I'll just go aluminum. But for right now, most of my money's going into the bottom end.
There you go. That does it. Any final words before we do the round table and share social medias and stuff like that?
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem,
Yeah,
bud.
thanks,
Tell everyone where they can find you, buddy.
Instagram, Muscle Car Syndicate, all one word. And then also on YouTube, Muscle Car Syndicate. Not very many videos. I'm still working on that. So
like and subscribe to Muscle Car Syndicate on Instagram and on YouTube. Curtis, what do you got, buddy? You got a social?
Best way is on Instagram. It's just Curtis Mundy, one word.
Cool.
Mostly just dart stuff.
Yeah. So you're gonna share pictures of the build and stuff on there?
Yeah, mostly that, some firearms, but that's for another. That's for another one.
Nice. We should start a new podcast, talking firearms, talking guns, or something.
Yes,
I'm down for that.
Kurt hit me after the last podcast. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." I was like, what are you sorry for? And he's like, oh, the AR's in the background. And I was like, hey, man, we're cool here. We're pro. As far as I'm concerned, we're pro Second Amendment. So that's that.
Between that and cars, I'm broke for life.
Same.
Start having kids, brother.
You should start another podcast just called Shop Talk, where it's not just Mopars, but your scooters, four-wheelers, guns.
I've talked to Big Block about this. I wanted to do kind of a separate show called Garage Therapy.
Perfect.
just talking shit. Because I don't know. Sometimes I bite my tongue a little bit because I can go off the rails real quick. We have a real good time. But got to try to keep it somewhat clean in case, Motor Trend ever comes knocking. Just kidding. Big Red, you got social media or what?
Nah, just what it on here.
Okay, cool. We'll look for you next time. Phil, what about you, buddy?
No, man, really the Instagram I got's all Alaska hunting type pictures and that kind of stuff. I would like to talk to you. Obviously, you're trying to get off now, but
sure.
Through some military programs, I can get loans for businesses and something with buying. You do find good deals on old cars, be it Chevy, GM, Ford, whatever,
sure.
And essentially selling run and driving projects. Do like plug changes and fluid changes,
sure,
and then that kind of stuff. But I don't want to keep you too tied up tonight. But eventually, I would like to kind of talk to you and kind of feel it out and see what you think.
Message me directly. Hit me up on my personal Facebook page.
All right, Chris. I appreciate you letting me entertain you for a minute.
Hey, this is an open forum. I said it before. I want to talk to everybody who wants to talk Mopars with me. So, good times. And last but most certainly not least, Big Block, Matt Monroe. Tell us where we can find you. All the good stuff.
I mean, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all under Big Block's Garage, Pod Page, Apple Podcasts. We're all over the place. Mad Fro Monroe is the name of the show.
Listen and subscribe. If you listen and subscribe to this show, you definitely need to listen and subscribe to Matt's show. It's a good one. I love the grassroots type shows. The overproduced stuff. It's just not me. Before we go, did you guys see that Kevin Hart got a show? Did you guys see that?
No.
They're giving Kevin Hart and a bunch of comedians a show about building cars. I'm pissed. Okay,
really?
I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Not to do with them?
And since I just ended my potential career with Motor Trend by saying that, I'm pissed. I'm like, Kevin Hart? You mean the guy that had a friend wreck his CUDA and then sued Speed Corps? All right.
Didn't he just buy another one?
Yeah, he got
another one built, I think.
I'm hoping he really wasn't. I'm hoping that his lawyers were more behind that and it wasn't him. Of course, I'll be tuning into the show to see what kind of shit they come up with. I hope it's not some bullshit. I really hope it's good. Only because I like good car shows, not bullshit shows. And when Who is that?
Sorry, guys.
I thought that was Johnny Mopar tuning in from the track.
Freaking wiener dogs. Kimmer.
Next time I want to talk about it, I'm going to go live from the driver's seat of my overpriced 70 Challenger RT 440. Yes. Kelly Badfish 67 on Instagram. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Chris Albrecht, and that was Talking Mopars Direct Connections. We'll see you next time. Thank you guys for showing up and joining me on the show. We'll do it again next time. Remember, it's an open forum. If you want to come on here and talk Mopars with me and everybody else, all you have to do is join us in the chat, click the link, and we'll get you on. Except for Trevor. His connection sucked. Sorry, Trevor. We'll try again next time, buddy. All right. We'll see you guys later.